Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming here, sparing your time for this important topic, often ignored topic. And if you are here, means you are concerned about your financial aspects. And at WealthCon, this thank you slide always comes first because we believe in giving, giving, and giving, and not taking at all. So this, just a brief, that WealthCon group was started by Dr. Ramnath Ghute. He's a radiologist based in Mumbai. And it initially started with 10 people about 5 years back. Now there are more than 70,000 doctors who have been financially taught by him, and we pass on the knowledge to others. Just a disclaimer that it's the educational platform. We don't provide any financial advisory services or sell any financial products. And we ultimately advise you all to become Atmanirbhar. And we all are super specialty doctors. We are not SEBI registered. And we believe in teaching and doing own research. So basically, the aim is to have a passive income besides our professional income, creating wealth, and at the same time having proper financial knowledge. We don't believe on any tips. We don't believe in investing in any crypto or any new products. And at the end of the day, we are totally non-argumentative. Take what you want. Don't take what you don't want. Be swan. So it's very important that we as doctors should learn finance rather than believing on an agent who comes on a two-wheeler, sells you lakhs of rupees of his policy, of the ignorant policies, and makes you a fool. Basically, what we want is a passive income. As Warren Buffett has said, never depend on single income. Make investment to create a second source. It leads to a better professional life. It relieves your tension of building any net worth, gives time to pursue your passions, whether it's fitness, sports, spirituality, or anything, and ultimately you're able to chase your dreams. We believe in the psychology. There are two types of psychology. Bad psychology involves investing all the surplus money into the tips given by agents or friends, thinking that it will double in few months, investing in new fads or fashion products, and believing in what comes in the TV news. But at WealthCon, we are taught to set exit plans based on proper calculations, which involve the cost of the product, the taxation, the liquidity, the risk involved, and the return involved, and ultimately diversifying the portfolio into gold, real estate, equity, and debt, which will be taken up in this instruction course. One should always remember the eighth wonder, which is the compounding. That is, if a person starts investing a lesser amount at a younger age, at the end of retirement, he'll be left with a much bigger corpus than a person who starts investing a larger amount at a later age. So earlier the better. And it's never too late. Even if you are 50, it's never too late. And you should always be aware of these terms. Initially, they appear as bouncers, but once you start reading about it, doing your own research, you learn about it. So one is a CAGR, that's a compound annual growth rate. This is used for products where there are single entry and single exits, like gold, real estate, and shares, while extended internal rate of return are for products where multiple SIPs keep going on. And ultimately, the agents only show you the CAGR, while it's the XIRR which is more important, especially for ignorant policies like LIC. So an agent sells you a product saying that you have to invest 1 lakh for 13 years per year, and ultimately you get 5 lakh on 16th and 20th and 25 lakh on 24th year. You will feel that you're getting a lot of corpus when you require it. But if you actually sit down and calculate, the XIR comes to 6%, which is not even beating the inflation. And if we invest all our money into fixed deposits, which if suppose earns 7%, the inflation is 6%. So, and if you're in the 30% tax slab, ultimately you're earning only 4.9%. So basically, you're eroding your wealth. So it's very important that at the end of the day, your passive income should be more than your monthly expenses. That's the only way you can achieve financial independence and work for the passion. Dr. Ashwini has to go to another talk, so I'll request him to give his talks first. Then I'll take up the course further. Thank you. And I'll request everyone to, I'm giving some passing on these papers, so you can note down your questions with your phone numbers on this. So obviously there'll be too many questions, so I'll make sure that you get your answers by tomorrow or day after.
Fine, good afternoon to everyone. There is no financial interest today. I was also a very much financial ignorant person before I joined WealthCon. So today I have two topics. First, I'll discuss about how to select a good mutual fund. Because if you search, you are aware of the any investment mutual fund. So there are n number mutual funds. So how to do a SIP and buying. As Sir Nikhil sir also said, Dr. Ramnath Gutte is the founder of WealthCon, and whatever we are speaking because he has taught us. So never depend on single income. Make investment to create a second source. Everybody in this conference, or most of us, wants money, and we earn money. So it's very important to manage money also. So we need to have some other source of income. So the concept of mutual fund is they pull money from different sources, and one investor will be there who has much more knowledge. So they will invest in the stocks, or there are different types of mutual funds. So they invest in different categories of mutual funds. So there are two types. If you say equity mutual fund and debt mutual fund, so along equity mutual fund there will be large cap, mid cap, small cap, tax saving ELSS funds, and debt mutual fund there will be liquid funds and money market funds and many of arbitrage funds. Different type of funds is there. So do you want to select your own mutual fund within 20 minutes? So many of my friends who have invested in the mutual fund also, they invested the wrong mutual fund when I learned about how to select a mutual fund. So this is the criteria. This is a copyright of WealthCon. This is CARESA criteria. It's a novel criteria formulated by Dr. Ramnath Gutte, where we select the funds depending on the these criteria. So C is category of fund. You first select the category of fund, then select the age of the fund. So if age of fund is more than 5 years, let the fund manager prove himself. Okay, he can multiply our money. So it should be more than 5 years. If initially some fund manager comes and that comes in very different news, okay, that expense ratio is very less, so people invest in that. People search in Google and invest in that. Don't go by that. Age of the fund should be more than 5 years. Then asset under management should be more than 1,000 crore. There are many mutual funds which have 500 crore, 200 crore, 50 crore as the net asset. Don't invest those mutual funds. Your asset should be more than 1,000 crore. It is just to save yourself, save our money. Fourth is the return should be maximum as per the 10 year, as per the 5th year, as the first, 3rd year and 1st year. There should be on the different maximum return. Expense ratio should be minimum. For managing our money, they take some amount of money. So it should be minimum. There is something known as 30-no ratio, which should be at higher at the better. What is that? We will discuss later. Alpha is higher the better. So this is a criteria, CARESA. So where to screen this data? So there is a website known as Value Research Online. It's totally free. This is totally free. So you search the Value Research, you log in first. Just log in your account, and you go down there, you see this fund screener. In that fund screener, you click that fund screener, you see different category of funds. So you enter the fund category. Once you get at a category, there is other categories also. If click other category, there will be open-ended, closed-ended. Click open-ended. Open-ended means you can trade it, sell it. There is no in closed-end you cannot. There is a time period. After that you can only sell. And you always select direct plans. Don't select indirect plans. That is the most important thing. If you search in any mutual fund or any broker, discount broker, Zerodha, you select only direct mutual fund. Even whatever you choose direct mutual fund. So before clicking apply, these are things to be checked again. Category of fund, subcategory, which one you want. Fund then type, it should be open, and plan type should be direct. Once you click that, and this will be the different type of mutual funds will become just like this. So if you click, there is snapshot, then comes returns. If you click on the returns, there will be short-term return and long-term return. So if you click on the long-term return, there will be 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, and 20-year return, depending on the how age that fund is. And there is on these categories of risk, there will be expense ratio also. This is the screenshots. What you can do, you can download this in the export to Excel. There is a button known as export to Excel. You download it, you just see all those 6 criteria only. CARESA. There will be 20 criteria might be if you download in Excel. You just choose those criteria and cut it and paste it into another new Excel. And from there you start deducting starting from the first point, like if his age is not more than 5 years, deduct it, just remove it. At the end, you want 2 or 3 mutual funds in your account, in your whatever category you are choosing. The Sortino ratio is higher the better. What is Sortino ratio? Sortino ratio is useful in evaluating portfolio return for a given level of bad risks. तो जितना अच्छा होगा Sortino ratio उतना हमारे लिए higher the better. Though Sortino ratio variation of the Sharpe's ratio, if you go unlike Sharpe ratio, it only considers the standard deviation of downward risk. Meaning Sortino ratios consider the bad risk also. The higher the better. You should not, as Ram sir says, we should not go by what is Sortino and what is Sharpe. So higher the better. It is a risk adjusted return. So everything considering different type of risks, how much I am getting after deducting the risks. Alpha, it is another point in the mutual fund, which is higher the better. The excess return of an individual, the performance of the fund manager which manages that fund, how they are doing, that is done by this indicator alpha. Though how it is performing to the benchmark. So benchmark is like Nifty 50. So that is higher the better. The Sortino alpha you can find it in the risk category. If you see in the risk category, so every that mutual fund you select, there is Sortino ratio and alpha. So you paste it all those mutual funds and you select another mutual fund. I should have done in the live, but due to time limit I am not performing in live. So you cut paste all the 6 parameters to its individual Excel sheet, and from there, from each point from the beginning, from the age of the fund, the asset under management, you keep on deducting. Some funds will be like 2 years old, so just don't think deduct it. So after that, at the end, you will remain 2 or 3 mutual funds. So if you see what is why important direct and regular, if you see the same mutual fund with 14% of interest direct, because just 1% difference between direct and regular, but at the end, when you calculated, the outcome will be like hugely difference. So because it is because of the compounding. So what we prescribe in the WealthCon is you select every 2 mutual funds in each category, and for tax saving it is better to invest in ELSS than to ignorant policies like LIC. So at last, what is SIP and DIP? So SIP is regular investment, is an asset. DIP, dip buying, is same thing when it is a down. So if anybody is in the stock market, for example, if I bought a 10 number of A share every month, when its price is 80, 90, 100, whatever it is, I am just buying it, that is not a SIP. But sometimes after reaching 110, the stock comes down to 75. Still, I have to enter at that point, that is known as dip buying. So basically, SIP is regular investment, buying without looking at the price, because price is going to be appreciated. A DIP is additional buying when we get a discounted price when market is at market correct. Oh, this is one of the Excel sheets that we have been given, that is made by some doctors only at WealthCon. There is only pyramidal buying where you enter this stock and it automatically calculates at what percent at you want to buy, how many shares for yourself. So this is pyramidal buying. So this is about mutual fund and SIP and D buying. This is so take home message is it should be direct plan and should be growth plan, and CARESA criteria should be met, and not more than 10 to 12 funds is necessary. So SIP mode, automatic, regular and consistent. No running behind any fancy and hot named funds, because when a new fund launches in market, they do extensive marketing. So don't fall behind that. So beginning the journey of financial literacy and reach the ultimate destination of financial freedom. What is financial freedom? When my passive income will be more than my active income. If I am earning 2 lakhs per month now, if after a point I am earning 2 lakhs from my passive income only, that is ultimate financial freedom. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I request everyone to note down their questions on that paper with your phone number, because there are too many topics. If we finish on time, we'll take up all the questions here. Otherwise, I'll make sure you get the answers. Actually, you can move on to the next.
Yeah. Next topic.
By the time they are loading his talk, I think I'll complete mine. So I'll request all of you to take a snapshot of this slide. So basically, this is a gist of the whole topic, that at WealthCon, we recommend the following wealth protection products, which includes most of the debt products as enlisted. And wealth creating products include the equity products, which includes the shares and the mutual funds. Ashwini has already told about mutual funds. Dr. Raju will speak about shares. And at the same time, you should diversify into real estate and gold. So basically, there's a statistics which came recently in the newspaper that Indian households, almost 50.7% of the investment is into real estate. Just 4.7% investment is into equity, and debt products, which are mostly provident funds, are 5.8%, insurance are 5.9%. Most people keep their bank deposits as FDs or saving bank at 14%, and gold as 15%. So the wealth creating products, you can see, is just 4.7%. So whenever we talk of building a portfolio, we should be aware of having what are true assets versus pseudo assets. So product of prestige, which we call as POPs, include house, car, fancy gadgets, furniture, jewelry. These were pseudo assets. This will not appreciate, rather depreciate. So one should never invest in them. And rather, one should invest in true assets, which may be physical, financial, or intangible. So investing into equity is very important to beat the inflation, and it's the only product which creates wealth in the portfolio. And as you should remember that, but the more the risk you take, the return will be better, but one should balance it out. And one should always believe in Indian growth story, and rather than investing in US market or any foreign market, I believe one should invest in India, because that's where is the future. So that's what is the percentage we prescribe. That is, if you are 40-year-old, 10% of your portfolio allocation should go into gold, 40%, which as doctors most of already have invested into real estate, either ancestral or self, should not go more than 40%. 40% should be into equity. So it should be equal to your real estate portfolio, and rest 10% should be into debt, which includes all the emergency corpus also. As your age increases, this 40% of the equity should start going down, and your debt part of the portfolio should start increasing. This is important to diversify, because each of these inter-asset diversification has some recurrent gains and passive gains. So one should capture both. It's important to invest into gold because it acts as a hedge for equity and the inflation. So as you can see this chart, whenever the Nifty shows a sudden dip, the gold chart increases. Especially you can see this COVID time 2020, when the Nifty suddenly crashed, the gold increased. So if your portfolio is diversified, ultimately it balances it out. So historically, both gold and Nifty have shown 9 to 12% of returns, and at shorter time frames, they act as cushion to each other. Gold, you may invest either into gold bar, jewelry, and coins, but as you can see, these have a lot of investment cost, expenses, and taxes in the form of making charges. While digitally, you may invest in gold in the form of mutual funds, ETFs, or sovereign gold bonds. At WealthCon, we believe in investing primarily into sovereign gold bonds because they have less cost and tax benefit. Dr. Raju will take up the tax benefits later on. But just to highlight the advantage of sovereign gold bond is that they give a ₹50 discount on primary tranche if you buy online. Secondly, there is no exit load. There are no making charges or any storage charges. They are safe. Nobody can steal them. And you can redeem them anytime if you want, if money is needed. Returns are almost 8 to 10% long term, and the short term negative returns are ultimately balanced out. And the main advantage is that you get 2.5% interest per year on the amount of initial investment, and at the end of 8 years of maturity, it's tax free. You can either buy from the primary market or from the secondary market. I'll not go into the details because this is a big big topic, and taxation will be taken up by Dr. Raju. So, as I already highlighted, sovereign gold bonds is the product one should put in. Ultimately, whatever product you are taking, you should diversify not only inter-asset but also intra-asset. So, if equity you are investing in, one should generally open 2 demat accounts. One demat account, you should keep doing a sip and dip kind of a strategy where you select, make your own portfolio. Dr. Raju will briefly talk about it, how to do that. And don't touch that. And another demat account, you should learn Atmanirbhar, become Atmanirbhar, how to trade, and use that account for trading, short-term trading for short-term profits. And whatever profit you make, you invest it into your long-term equity or in gold. That way, money works harder to earn more money, and it becomes a compounding effect. And ultimately, from around 4,000 stocks, depending on the size, sector, character of the business, risk and returns involved, you narrow down to around 200 or 300 stocks only. That's what we do. And ultimately, our core portfolio ultimately reduces to around 20 or 30 stocks only, which is well diversified. But end of the day, even if you don't want to spend so much time, you feel you don't have that kind of a mental makeup, you don't want to spend so much time, you can directly buy exchange traded funds, which again Dr. Raju will talk, and ultimately keep buying some amount every month, and whenever there's a dip in Nifty, puts lump sum amount also in these exchange traded funds. Then 10% of the portfolio should be to debt. In school, we used to read this formula, APRON, APRON, that's what we call. So debt products, they have a fixed principal amount, fixed return, and fixed number of years. So you get a fixed amount of return at the end of the tenure. There are certain debt products which are tradable and some are non-tradable. So fixed deposits and PPFs and Sukanya Sridhi are good because they give almost 7.25% returns, but they are non-tradable. And the rest of the debt products, as enlisted, you can diversify. I'll skip this liquid Bs. Dr. Raju will take up in brief. Liquid funds, as we told, that they are debt mutual funds. They invest in highly liquid money market instruments and debt securities of short term. They may be, they also include the treasury bills. And ultimately, they have a high degree of safety with liquidity. You can redeem the money whenever you want. And they have low risk since they are less duration. They're used to park money for short duration, for short-term goals. And you can also put a systemic transfer plan, wherein whatever money you earn, you can invest into the liquid fund and then withdraw at regular intervals for equity, mutual fund, or direct into equity. And ultimately, they give 5 to 9% returns. And Dr. Ashwini has already told how to select them by using the CARISA criteria. I know these terms are very new for you. You feel you may not understand. But I'll suggest everyone to join WEALTHCON group and read the messages there, and you will learn about them. And I'll skip these. These are government securities. Again, these are debt products, very nice to invest for long term. And one line on arbitrage funds. These are equity products, but they act as debt products because they are non-volatile. They give almost 7 to 8% returns over 5 to 10 years. And the main advantage is that they are taxed as equity. So if you are investing into debt products or even fixed deposits, if you withdraw the money, you are taxed at slab rate, which is almost 30% for us. But if you invest in arbitrage fund, your money stays safe. And if you withdraw, you are taxed at 10 to 15% only. So you save on that 15%, and whatever extra money you have, you can save it. I already told about this percentage allocation. And so arbitrage fund are very good to park your money. And ultimately, your aim should be passive investing, wherein minimum 50% of the money allocated, you should do a sip and dip strategy. And active investing, trading, should never be more than 50%. Okay, so but ultimately, each individual is to oneself, how much capital he has, how much investment he already has, which tier city he's practicing, what kind of practice he has. There are multiple factors involved. Ultimately, you have to become Atmanirbhar. Thank you. So I'll invite Dr. Rohit now. He'll speak on Ashwini is there?
I will discuss about good loan and bad loan, as we have taken sometimes loans. So what are considered good loan, what are considered bad loan. So there is a simple basic rule in investing is 50-30-20 rule. 50% that you earn it should be invest in your should be spent on the needs, that is rent, payment, groceries, utilities, transportation. 30% on the wants, and 20% should be on investment or saving. So what you can reduce is reduce your wants, because wants does not have any limit, so that you can increase your saving for a better future. So what is loan? Loan is some borrowing, or हिंदी में बोले तो उधारी. So it is secured, unsecured. So why somebody takes loan? Loan is like for pleasure or enjoyment purpose, like vacation loan, marriage loan, car loan. Car loan, it might be some question mark, why I should tell later. Need is emergency, like not having health insurances, student loan, education loan. Growth is for business purpose. So as a doctor, why we need loan? Why I need loan? Unnecessary EMI, why? Because of financial literacy. So this study, there is no study available in India. The study where 80% of USA people does not have money after retirement. Does not put money something as saving, does not have how to do investment, they does not have. 60%, if you see that data, 60% American fail to pass the basic financial concept, and 15% have investment other than basic saving account, only 15%. And 86, like 80 to 90% need to borrow money, take out a loan in case of health emergency. That is the data of USA. So India, it is very poor, and among doctors it is also very poor. So what is good loan? A loan that it increases our productivity, that creates something asset, and that saves our tax, and it is appreciating asset. So it value increases with time. That is known as good loan, and opposite of all these three is bad loan. So what are the good loans? Home loans, education loan, and business loan are the good loans. Bad loans is car loan, question mark. For what purpose you are taking car? That is on the basis it can be a good loan or bad loan. Gadget loan for buying an iPhone or something like that is bad loan. Personal loan and consumer loans. So why home loan is considered as a good loan? Because you can save different category of taxes in this. There is like ATC and 224B, where you can save up to 2 lakh in interest. So these are the advantage of having home loan. So you can save your taxes on the loan. So there are sometimes, these are the questions that have been asked by doctors in the WEALTHCON passive investor group, which is open for all doctors. If loan is the name of husband, but home registration is on the name of husband and wife, both are doctors, in which account the taxes and benefits should go? So the answer was like, husband and wife should be the borrower, and husband and wife should be the co-owner. Then only they would get maximum benefit out of that, because they can save up to 4 lakh rupees of tax saving if they have both have co-owner and borrower. So what is the minimum home loan to keep to balance it? So like income tax and home loan, it is suggested like 50 to 70 lakh. So up to minimum of 4 lakhs. If you see this slide under 24B, there are 2 lakh of tax saving, because up to 2 lakh of tax saving for every borrower. For example, I and my wife have a home loan, we can save up to 4 lakh rupee tax every year. So real estate, we don't advise in real estate, but depends on how much money you have spare. That we'll discuss in the later slide. Education loan. So investing in education, which can pay you or son, daughters for life. I can invest on my daughter or son now, but that to investment they will keep on earning for the life. So every parent cannot be that rich to afford ever increasing cost of higher education. So especially universities in developed countries. So we should take education loan. Tax, on the tax aspect, interest payments are exempted for income tax for students as well as for the parents. On business loans, like to expand our business, for example, I have a hospital, I want to expand it. So I can take that loan, because all the corporates, all the bigger banks, HDFC Bank or any company you name it, they have maximum amount of debt. But how you use that debt, that makes more important. So is there any tax benefit of buying clinic premises, commercial loan, how to avail this benefit? All interest paid in the business loan comes under expense and of profit and loss statements in case of business loans. So as a proprietor, I can show where my all expenses gone. So it is a very big benefit in case of business loans. So what are the negative loans or bad loans? The credit cards. We most have credit cards. It's very bad. Interest rates are very high. If you don't pay file the credit card bill. I have seen friends who have a loan to pay the credit card bill. Credit card loans to be avoided strictly. Credit card to be used judiciously. What happens if I have a credit card, sometimes offers comes in Amazon and Flipkart. we tend to buy things that are not necessary for the time being. We can manage with my iPhone 13, but since I have a credit card and I new iPhone come, I used to buy it in EMI. So you should not take credit card. If you having a credit card, it should be used very judiciously. Personal loans like for marriage or for travel, interests are very high. There is no exemption on tax. Plus we have to pay from our post-tax income. और ज़्यादा शोबाजी नहीं करने का, याद रखने का, जो शो करते हैं उनके पास ज़्यादा नहीं होता, जिनके पास ज़्यादा होता है वो डाउन टू अर्थ रहते हैं. कार लोन्स, वेदर इट इज गुड और बैड डिपेंडिंग, car loan depends good or bad depend on the purpose. If I have one car, there is no need of another car. So if I am buying that car for my only travel purpose, that is a bad loan. But if I am buying something like that can useful for my hospital like ambulance, or if you buying some for some business purpose, then that is known as good loan. So very important difference between PON and POP. PON is product of need that satisfies our need, and that is something called POP, product of pleasure, which we buy from sense of vanity, temptation, jealousy, desire, from the Facebook post by seeing others doing vacations. We should go on a vacation by taking loan or took some photo. So needs are imposed by nature, wants are sold by the society. So there are something called, as people must be getting calls from overdraft calls. Sir, you have been approved of this amount of overdraft from this bank. It is a type of credit facility, but the only difference is the amount of money that you draw. Depending on that, you get interest rate. So don't fall trap into it. They will not tell there is a processing fees into it, there is annual maintenance fees, there is higher interest rates, they don't tell about it. So don't fall into that. So these are some case studies that have been asked by doctors in our group. We should take a car loan or not, considering there is 8.5% of interest and we can invest it and better returns. If I think I can invest it and get returns, so I take a car loan. Best option, no loan. Second option, if desperate, to take a loan, minimum amount, minimum duration and minimum percentage. So because quality of a life of a EMI player is very poor than without a loan. So is buying a car good idea to save a tax by depreciation? So car loan is equal to bad loan is equal to immediate closure. So debt is an open weapon to keep people poor. So always be debt free. Suppose a person wants to buy a house and also starts his stock market investing as early as possible. The house is worth of 50 lakh and he has 90 lakh in his account as an FT. Option 1, he pays upfront 50 lakh for the house and keep 20 as an emergency fund and invest 20 lakh in stock market. Option 2, he takes a house loan instead and invest 50 lakhs in the stock market, which would be the feasible option. So it depends on the situation, how much surplus amount of funds he has, what is the emotional, psychological importance having a home for that person, role of a home in the GRED matrix, interest rate and duration of the loan, how much duration it will be, one's own ability or confidence to return the stock market, beat the stock market, tax saving from the EMIs, the appreciation of the home itself over the 15-20 years, is home is for self-living or property investment. But it depends on the person to person, so whether to invest in stock home or not. Business or financial loans versus personal finances, so it should be kept separate, business finance and personal finances. So there are sometimes the question comes as a beginner of doctors, I just started our new hospital 1 year back, both have does not have any family related property, everything based on ITR, so how you go about it? So as we advise, start with a small amount and increase as this income grows. Don't take so much debt so that you have a burden of paying EMI. So before taking any loan, you should ask yourself these 5 questions. Why do I need a loan? Is it absolutely necessary? What is the cost of borrowing money? Can I handle more debt? And can I afford the monthly prepayments? So these are the loan algorithm. First step, if necessary, if yes, then go to second step. How much is the cost? What is the total interest, fees, repayment, bank charges? Third step is XIR function that is there on the net, you can calculate. And fourth step, tax, how much tax benefit that I am getting out of that. Avoid consumer loan and personal loan to spend. So if I have to borrow, how much I have to borrow? So less than 30% is good. Then beyond 30% pre-tax money is not advisable to take loan. Why do we recommend to pay loan and debt free, become debt free for all doctors? Is you work hard for the bank and companies if you take a loan, because that's how the bank grow, we don't grow. So I will slide just 2 slides. Loan is a new slavery. Taking loan for depreciating asset and paying EMI from the hard work Best option, no loan. Loan-free life is a stress-free life. So be financially ignorant. Don't be financially ignorant. Spending more, running up bigger debts, incurring higher interest rates, or borrowing more and saving less. So these are the 3 points in different colors. For leisure trips, for vacations, and for marriage, don't do luxury trip by taking loan. No need to do an extravagant marriage. No need to stay in 5-star hotel to click some photo and post in Instagram, Facebook. You still can do trips on your budget. Personal car loan, if affording, don't have a single car at home and need it for communication, then take it. Or if you have a car, don't buy it for the purpose of show off. Loan for setting up your own hospital, loan for ambulance vehicle income, or loan for child's higher education. These are the good loans. Have you ever wondered why the rich and get richer and the poor gets poorer? So make money work for you. It does not sleep, get tired, or go on vacation. Thank you. Be smart.
Thank you, Ashwini. That was a really commendable talk you took. This is totally new topics for us also to read through them, do research and present them. So quite commendable. Thank you. Now I invite Dr. Rohit. He'll be speaking on insurance, term and health insurance. Again, an important topic. Nobody tells us about them. If we ask anybody, there are selfish gains involved for them. So let's hear him talk on it.
Good afternoon, everyone. So after so much of wealth making, I'll come to the expense part. So insurance, some consider it as asset, but at WEALTHCON we are taught that it is an expense. We should not mix our investment with our expense. So a disclaimer, I am not an insurance agent or a financial expert. This discussion is purely for educational purpose. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ramnath Gutev for being our mentor, and he the founder of WEALTHCON, and he has made around more than 80,000 doctors to learn finance. So coming to the topic, life insurance, there are of two types. One is with investment and other is without investments. So I would like to say that do not mix your investment plan with your insurance plan. So insurance, keep it as an expenditure, it's an expense. So without investment, that is a term policy, term life insurance, and with investment, we have the ULIP, endowment plans, and money back plans. So what is a term policy? Term policy is a pure risk cover. It will cover the risk of your life. And what is an endowment? Along with the risk cover, it will have some saving, that is you will get some money back. And there are non-linked participating endowment policy, which is insurance cover plus survival benefits, and that survival benefit is linked to the profit of the life insurance company. Then there are ULIPs. ULIPs are insurance cover plus market linked investment benefits. And last is non-participating, non-linked endowment plans, that is the fixed amount known beforehand of the risk cover, that is what the family gets, and the survival benefits what you get. So what is the problem with LIC? Why at all our talks we are saying to not take LIC, LIC is not good. So only as a term policy, LIC is very good, you can go for it. But if you mix your investment with LIC, the problem is that most of the policies are 20 to 25 years long. So where the investment returns are very low. So if you go on calculate it, it comes around 4% CAGR, and XIR are mostly less than 5.5, which is less than the FD or your saving interest, bank saving interest. So, and as per the term policy cover is also very low. So it will not give you a good term policy cover, and is not a very good tool for investment returns. So it doesn't serve either the purpose. So at WEALTHCON we call them as ignorance policies, and we recommend to stop LIC or redeem LIC if done for investment. So what we recommend is the term insurance, which is that the death benefit to a family for a certain period, financial protection to dependent family in case of untimely demise of an earning member. Over here the premiums are fixed, so and you should start early in life because it will be less expensive. So you can cut your expense if you start early in life. How to choose a best term plan. So the best term plan should be at least around 20 times of your annual expense plus loan amount, or at least 10 to 15 times of your annual income. So if your annual income is around 50 lakhs, so it should be something around 5 CR. Some insured, because some insured cannot be increased, so some also go for life stage protection option. That is, at the time of your marriage or childbirth, you can increase the sum insured. Insurance should be taken up till the age of 70 years. This is something very personal, but I feel after 70 years, you go into your phase of retirement and your child are no longer dependent. So till 70 years of life, it is okay. Premium payment till end of policy. There should not be any limited pay, or if I pay the policy in 10 years. So there is no benefit of such things. Buy from top companies. LIC, HDFC, SBI, ICICI, anyone. Don't go for research. Don't waste your time on such thing. You waste your time on investment, but not on expenditure. You can buy from any of the top 4 good insurance companies where they have the good claim settlement ratio, surplus solvency ratios of more than 1.5. And this is very important. Fill your form yourself, disclose all the medical history, ask for medical tests. They include terminal illness waiver, include disability waiver. Read the small fine prints very carefully. There are certain things you should know, that they have the right to deny, that is suicide in first year of policy, or any wrong information given while buying the policy. And there are certain exclusions, such as death in case of high risky activities such as skydiving or car racing. In those cases, your term insurance will not give you the money. What are the companies' rule if you miss a premium or when you surrender the policy? This should also be looked into. Then there are free lock-in period. Most companies have a free look-in period for 15 days from date of issue. And there is something called MWPA. You should always opt for MWPA. So what is MWPA? It is basically Married Women's Protection Act. According to this, the insured amount can be claimed by the whatever the insured amount you are getting on the debt. It can be claimed by the creditors of the husband for the home loan, or can be attached in court if dispute is there with other family members with respect to claim amount received. So as per the act, they cannot claim it. It is just your wife and your children's property, and this cannot be changed. Even if you divorce your wife, you cannot change it. Okay, so we can add retrospective. One thing is important. This has to be taken while you go for the policy. You cannot add this retrospectively in the existing policy. Now coming to the second part of my talk, health insurance. There are various kinds of health insurance. So let us discuss difference between the individual and family floater. So individual health policy is that each family member has a separate cover, which can be continued once children becomes major or married or relocated, and the no claim bonus is not lost. Disadvantage is that it has more premium. Most of us go for family floater policy, but the disadvantage is that it is one policy which covers all the members of the family, and the premium is based on the age of senior person, and it will increase when the person grows more than 50 years. So if any illness affecting multiple family members together, such as an accident, the claim coverage may not be sufficient. A single member can consume the entire policy in a year. In such cases, the rest of the family members remain uninsured for the entire year. So we recommend to go for individual health insurance, and along with that, we should go for something called a super top-up plan. So what is the super top-up plan? So there is a difference between a top-up and a super top-up. So if you, for example, if you are taking a health policy of 5 lakhs, so in a year you got hospitalized and your bill is more than 5 lakhs, say 7 lakhs. So in such case, your 5 lakhs will be consumed by your base policy, and then your super top-up will kick, where the deductible amount exceeded in all the hospital bills can be claimed, and there can be multiple claims made in a year. The difference with the top-up is that in top-up only one hospital bill can be claimed in a single year. Okay, so we recommend to go for super top-up. So while buying the policy, there are certain points, key points to remember, that you should keep your premium low. Do not overbuy it. It's an expense. keep the adequate sum insured around 20 to 30 lakhs per individual. Best will be a base policy of 10 lakhs with a super top up of 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Study terms and conditions. Your health insurance should be having a cashless facility in the hospital network of more than 8,000 in your locality, and it should cover for the pre-existing disease. Always disclose the PEDs. It's very important. Most of us hide that we are diabetic, we are hypertensive, but we have to give more premium, so they will not disclose it. But these are the common reasons where you will get rejected. Opt for something having a house claim settlement rather than a TPA. Pre and post hospitalization coverage 30 days before and 60 to 90 days after should be covered. Daycare treatment coverage, consumables, deductibles, and avoid health insurance policies which are having capping on room rent and surgical limits, such as the GIPSA companies. Avoid the health insurance where you have to give co-payments. Better to go for private companies such as Bajaj Alliance, HDFC Ergo, ICICI Lombard, Max Bupa. In WEALTHCON we call them the BHIM companies. Last but not the least, critical illness plan is very important after 40 years of age, where you are given a sum assured at the diagnosis. No need for hospitalization for critical illness such as heart attack, stroke, paralysis, kidney failure, and major operations such as CABG or organ transplantation. Thank you. Just in the end, I would like to say insurance is an expense. Insurance and investment should not be mixed. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. Again, a very nice talk. Sorry, because paucity of time. There are topics where we can spend half an hour on each topic, take up all your questions, discuss them in depth. But due to paucity of time, we'll move on to the most important talks which you're waiting for. Dr. Raju is here to present them.
Thank you, everybody. So, how many of you are doing stocks directly here? Anybody doing stocks? Okay, quite a few. So again, thanks to sir, he has made us to think independently. That's the one thing that we all owe to him. So first things first is to all of us must have a demat account open and understand the terms of the user interface, how to place a stock order, what is market order. All those things have to be learned. So these are all new things for those of us who are not exposed to the stock market. So it's always better to take guidance from a friend who has already done it before. So all of us have gone through this difficult journey. So how to select good quality stocks using MPTDS criteria or other criteria that we tell you basically. Basically you just try to get an hang of the things that are there rather than trying to remember. It's not possible to remember. These are like our OCT short forms. They keep changing and it's difficult. So why this topic is most of the times as retail investors we fall prey to tips trading, or we blindly follow some financial guru without understanding. The aim of this talk is to initiate and encourage ourselves to start learning about doing the stock selection on our own. And how to do it is to do a fundamental analysis of those stocks. So stocks can be simply, for the sake of classification in WEALTHCON, it could be banking or non-banking, and again in the non-banking it could be dividend paying or non-dividend paying. Even in the banking you can have dividend and non-dividend paying. So use the MPTDS criteria basically for the dividend paying stocks, and the non-dividend paying stocks use some other little bit extra criteria for them. That's it. So for the banking you don't use the debt equity ratio. We use gross non-performing assets, that the G stands for. I'll let you know about this. This criteria is basically to select fundamentally strong companies so that we don't risk losing our money. These are basically suited for passive investments. This is not for trading. This is not for trading. These are basically passive investment. And as we said, it's SIP, that is systematic investment plan, or a dip buying, that is whenever the things are down you buy them, and you hold it for a minimum duration of 7 years. You think that this is a company which is going to grow over the next few years, and you should be ready to hold that for 7 years unless you feel or there is something that happens in between wherein we have to reconsider our decisions. So at WealthCon, we are saying that to be very safe, have a market capitalization of more than 10,000 crores. So only very large companies we are actually trying to look at it. And the price should be uptrending, and the tax and the dividend and the sale should be ascending over the last 10 years. So how to do this? This website called as screener.in. Here you can see this the chart of the price of TCS company over the last 10 years or so. Here you can see that although the prices have gone up and down, but the general trend is on the uptrend. So this is the kind of stock that we actually want to see. So if you are there invested for 7 years, even if you invested in 2018 here, still you would have made a profit when you are going there at the top of that year, somewhere there. But if you look at the another stock here, the ONGC, you can see that it's gone up and down, and the direction is it's going in any direction it wants. So it's not like a general uptrend that we usually see. But when there are limitations, some of the companies are mature and at a steady level of growth, they may have limited sales potential, growth potentials. So to diversify our portfolio, we also started to look at other criteria. So again, the market cap for the MD Sport criteria is more than 10,000 only. And for knowing the health of the company, 3 ratios we take. That is the debt to equity ratio. It should be less than 0.3. So that company is as debt free as possible is what we want. It should have a good operating margin. So it should have a good pricing power, should have a good operating margin. And whatever the capital it has employed, it should be able to generate a return on that capital employed. And it should have a consistent sales growth. It should be able to show profits, and it should also be paying the tax. So all these things are taken care, and these things are made into a mnemonic so that we remember it. So for the sake of return on investment, more than 20% is what we are taking it for screening. And for the sales, profit and tax, we are taking more than 15%. The growth year on year we are trying to see. So these are the various formulas. Let's not go into them, but you understand these are the formulas or the ratios that we are trying to find, and this we'll have to learn it ourselves and try to do it when we are doing it. So main aim of doing all these things again is to screen these stocks. Now after we screen, what we have done also, sir has done, is to give them points according to the growth that is there. Not every year you may have 15% growth, sometime you may have a 5% growth or a 10% growth. So based on that, there are scoring system. If this growth is less than 5%, we are given it as 0, and accordingly if it is more than 4, more than 20%, we are given it as 4. And after scoring all the values, so we are seeing that any stock which has got more than 75% points, then we are considered it as a valid stock, and in between 50 to 75 is in the watch list, and less than 50 we are actually discarding. So this is mainly to standardize the selection criteria and eliminate the risk of averaging because of inconsistent or volatile numbers. When it comes to banking, we do not use the debt to equity because the banks are actually giving debt. So we actually look at what is called as a gross non-performing assets. So they are given the loan and they are not got back the loan. So that's how it is actually. So lesser the gross non-performing assets, better for the company, and more the return on asset. So if you look at the screener and if you put this query there, market cap more than 10,000, you will get almost 451 results. And then if you, this is a video actually running. So if you see that the 451 companies came, then we put all our queries, then it brought it down to just 18. Now we need to go back and see each of these companies and see and download their profit and loss, and then put them into the Excel sheet again, and after that we need to look at the scoring. So if you looked at this scoring of this company called as Affle India Limited, which was there in the list, so it got a score of 86 here, and this is another company, this is the ITC got a score of 65. Again, you need to do some individualization for each stock that you are looking at, because why it has got a lesser thing is because in the last 3 years or 4 years back, when there was a COVID, there's a huge dip, and because of that the sales were less. So sometimes you may have to see the things in whole perspective when you are trying to select the stocks, because this company actually shows good return on investment, ROC is also growing, and the profit also and profit margins are also good for this company. So just because they had one bad year, you cannot discard it completely, but you may keep it in your watch list and take it forward. As far as passive investors are concerned, again, if you do not want to do all the stocks and other things yourself, then you can do what is called as passive investing into equity traded exchange traded funds, that is the ETFs. So you have the various ETFs called as Nifty 50, Next Nifty, all those things. We don't have to do anything. All we have to do is to buy them and hold them. That's it. And it is not based on any single company. It's the whole 50 companies which are there in the index, which will be based on that it will be doing it. So here again, coming to the dip and the SIP buying, that what we are telling. So what you do is keep on investing a fixed amount, say 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, at each time. But in dip buying, whenever there is a dip, as you can see here, the market was down, and here also the market was down. Here you can get in more money whenever the market is down. So that's the whole idea, to maximize your returns when you come here. So if you have bought more here, you will get more when you are going on the top. So that's the whole idea of the SIP and the dip buying. So in summary, it is basically we need to diversify so that the overall increase in the CAGR can happen. Have a selection of 20 to 30 stocks, become self-reliant, and have financial freedom. That's the whole idea of this.
Thank you, Raju. That was a very simplified talk. These terms may be new to you. You may feel they are very complicated and mere se nahi hoga. But believe me, 6th class, 7th class student or doctor's children, they are doing it. They are learning how to do it. So if they can, obviously we have to spend some time, and we can do it. Okay. So yes. So I'll request Raju to go on to the last topic, taxation, because ultimately whatever you earn, everything goes on to taxation, and that's where we can save a lot. And believe me, chartered accountants will never tell you 100%, and even they don't know 100%. Thank you.
Yeah, as far as saving the tax is concerned, the biggest earner of all the money is the government. So they make the most of everything. Whatever transaction you do, they make the most of it. But we should try to see how we can at least save the tax legally. Thing is, if you are earning legally, you can save only very little, and there is no way we can recommend to do anything illegal. And as I said, we are all doctors and we are all trying to learn these things, and we are just that we have learned these terms maybe 1 or 2 years earlier. So we are not qualified tax advisors or chartered accountants. So consult your chartered accountants, but it is important you ask the right questions. So just like when the person comes to sell you the insurance, he is actually selling for his benefit, and he'll never tell you a term insurance. When the time you ask them, you give me term insurance, you ask them and tell them that you tell me about term insurance, they'll show their true colors. That's what happens. So let us see, you buy this laptop as an individual doctor. The cost of the laptop is 1 lakh, you pay 18% tax, and the total cost is 1,18,000. Now, if you are in the 30% bracket, actually we need to earn 1,68,000 to buy that laptop, because that is how much the tax we have to already pay the government to have that 1 lakh with us. So 1,18,000 with us. This is how it actually works. So the cost of the laptop was 1 lakh. You paid 18,000 tax, but you have to earn 1,68,000 before you can buy that, because you have to pay the government also for that if you are in the 30% tax bracket. But if you are having a private limited company and you are buying a laptop, you can buy it through the company, and this becomes a part of an asset, and you can claim depreciation also for that laptop. So this is the difference. I'm just trying to put a perspective into how to change our thinking about the various things that we need to do. So what are the various sources of income? So they are all clubbed together, and we should know how they are taxed and how we should save based on whatever is possible. So income group for doctors typically comes in two types. One is a salaried, others are professional fees is what you take. So professional doctors, most of us are in the professional fees category, and some of us in medical colleges will be on salary basis. The doctors working in private setups and freelancing will come under professional fees. So when you are calculate income from all your sources, that is income from salary, house rent, then anything that you sell, that is capital gains, then business professional incomes. So each of them are actually treated differently. So income from sources, so all of them are put together, and income from investment. Now you learn to do an investment, then whatever you sell and make profit also will be subjected to taxes. And for advanced people who are doing futures and options, this also comes under the business income, and they will all be taxed. So you to maximize, so you need to see the tax deductions where all it's possible, tax saving instruments. All these things are available, but you should understand that there are this PPF, NSC, ELSS. So you need to invest into them to get the tax benefit. Important is to also file returns on time. If you don't file returns on time, again you lose the losses, that whatever you have to offset your losses, if at all you have, you will not be able to do it. So file your returns on time. Then these are the various house rental allowance, then education loan interest, home loan interest. There are under various sections you can all claim. So most of the things will be helped out by your CA. And also then you can ask them, if you ask them to file an income tax, so they'll file it just like that. But you should again find out what is beneficial for you, whether it's the old tax regime or the new tax regime. So just go through that and see which one is better. And the new tax regime, there is no deductions are available for you, although they have increased the slab rates. So if you are in the total deductions are 1.5 lakhs or better, then the new tax regime will be beneficial. If your total deductions are more than about 3.75 lakhs, then the old tax regime will be beneficial. And if it is in between, then it will also depend on your income level. That's what would be the calculations. So there are various calculators also available on the online. You can go and see how it works out, and then whatever is suitable for you, you understand, you take them. So old tax and new tax regime, that you should be aware of that. And also depending on the age, they say the slab rates will change. So I think most of us will be aware of these things. So all the subheadings we need to see, and what are all the available choices in the old and the new tax regime can be compared, and choose it in consultation with your tax consultant. And as I told you, these are the various deductions that are available. Sukanya Samriddhi is one thing that you can all consider, especially if you have a small kid, girl child. So this is one thing that is very, very beneficial as an investment also, as far as a tax efficiency also. Then one more thing is the presumptive taxation. This is one thing that gives relief to small taxpayers from the tedious job of maintenance of book of accounts. So you're supposed to maintain the book of accounts, but you can use this presumptive taxation under 44 AD ADA. Here it is eligible for persons who are doing these kind of professions, medical, legal, and gross receipts or turnover during the financial year not exceeding 50 lakhs. You can file it under this scheme. So all you have to do is to take 25% as your expense, and for the amount remaining, you pay it as the tax. For LLPs, and it is not possible, but however for individual, HUF and partnership firms, the the amount is up till 2 crores. So if you are having opticals, you can do it in the name of your HUF or in the name of your spouse. So in that way you will be able to segregate the things and take the benefits also of the taxation. Next is when you are selling any asset, so you get what is called as a capital gains. Now the asset can be in the form of a short-term gain if you are holding it for less time, or for a long-term time, especially when you are doing stocks. So all these things will be there. So I will not go into too much details of these things. Again, your gold or listed shares, equity, they are all based on number of years you are holding. For gold, it should not be, if it is less than 3 years, it is considered as short term. For the stocks, if it is less than 1 year, it is considered short term. And short term and long term are taxed differently. So that also we should be aware. Then other thing is, who have been into stock market for long time, maybe some of us might have started 10 years or 15 years ago. Suppose you bought something in 2018, there is something called as, before 2018, there is something called as grandfathering. So if you bought a share at 100 rupees in 2016 and you sold them at 150 rupees, you actually made a profit as 150 minus 100 is 50 rupees. But actually, if there is this grandfathering, if you know about it, and you can apply for that, and there is something called as a fair market value of that share, because the rule changed in that year, and whatever you have bought it before 2018, you have to calculate the fair market value as on 2018 January 31st, and you only have to pay a tax on 25 rupees, not on 50 rupees that you had, because the fair market value of that stock was 125 rupees in January. Again, sovereign bonds are very tax efficient. You can use that. And other thing is the indexation. That is one thing that I wanted to tell. Indexation is that suppose you bought a land, say at 10 lakh rupees, and in the year 2022 you sold it at 20 lakh rupees. So if you don't know what is indexation, you will be calculating as 10 lakh rupees of profit. But it is not actually that. That's not actually that. The indexed cost of that is actually 22 lakhs. So in fact, you have made a loss on that. So you don't have to pay any tax on it. So this is what are the things that we should keep in mind, understand, and ask our tax consultants whenever we are doing disposing properties that you have taken. So indexation cost and expenditure that you have incurred also can be subtracted. I think for the lack of time, we'll cut short. Thank you so much. So important is a penny saved is penny earned. So it's all try to save as much as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, so a lot many things to discuss, but due to paucity of time, sorry, we can't take up the questions here, but we can meet outside for coffee and discuss these things outside. And rest, you can go on to the website of wealthcon.com, and their link is there. You can join the group. That's on Telegram. And rest, you can take my number, my email actually, nikhilpal76@gmail.com, nikhilpal76@gmail.com. You can just ping me there, and I'll help you join and answer all your questions. Thank you everyone. And I hope this instruction course benefited everyone. and definitely you'll gain from it. Thank you.
सर सर सामने छोड़ दीजिएगा सर